something needs to change. No question of that. Something needs to change because this is not the way society should be living. Society cannot be living by rules and regulations. It should be all internal. It should be people doing this. Yes, there are some wrong people, some wrong practices. Identify them, take them out, do whatever it is. But to punish the whole society for some few persons wrong is, at least in my thing, I really don't believe in that. Trust is the most valuable commodity of 21st century. Most valuable commodity. It's very rare. You remove Mr. Tata from the scene, remove Ravi Kant from the scene. You substitute that with another person here, and A, and another person B. Exactly same thing will happen. The new ROI for 21st century is risk of inaction. In life, you want to do something, you want to accomplish something, then you are pursuing that goal, then there's a passion. Then the work is no more work. Please understand that. Work is pleasure.
We'll just start with just a few seconds, 10 seconds with our eyes closed. We'll just make the intention that whatever we discuss in this conversation, may it be helpful to whoever it reaches, and may it reach whoever needs to hear what we discuss. Let's just start with that intention. Thank you so much. So thank you, Ravi Kant, for coming to the studio. It is such an honor to have you here, to host you at Kanha Shanti Vanam. And sabse pehle, I want to ask you, how has your experience been on the last 3 days that you've been here on campus?
Well, it is nothing short of amazing. I did expect something good, but what I found was extraordinary. There are so many things which are being done here. Is quite amazing, and such diverse nature of activities. That's one, definitely. Number two is eye for detail. That is something, again, which is extraordinary. Everything, whether it's the landscaping, whether it is cleanliness, whether it is keeping the hedges in proper trim and shape, is absolutely amazing. And third, I think the most important thing is people. Whoever I've spoken with, I come up with a great feeling that what has brought people here and what is making them stay here or be connected with this organization is truly quite remarkable.
And also you had the opportunity to have some heartfulness meditation sessions.
I did. I had the first one on Sunday with Daaji himself out there in the big auditorium, big place. So I had the first experience. After that, Pragya has been giving me, other people have been giving me this one-on-one lessons.
Wonderful. And you also had a chance to meet Daaji. What was that like?
At two levels. He appeared to me like any natural, ordinary person I would find and talk to. But I do believe that's his personality, and that's what he wants to come out as, a normal, ordinary person, not as somebody who should be revered. So that simplicity, that I would say, being seen as an ordinary person is a great quality. Second thing is, of course, his knowledge is very extensive, because that I have noticed here when going to different places, variety of things I talked about. His kind of footprint is everywhere. And the kind of people have talked to me about his involvement and things like that, small thing, quite extraordinary. Third thing, I had some also personal need to kind of in a way, discuss with him or to share with him, let me put it this way, is a book which I have recently co-written on leading from the back to achieve the...
Yes, we have it here.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's the one. He had already read it, but that's different. But after I made my kind of 2 or 3 minute of introduction on this topic and what I had done, he very calmly says, but that's how we do things in this organization. We only lead from the back. And so there was such a nice, I would say, congruence of thoughts that was extremely, extremely delightful and pleasing to me. And he didn't stop there. He said, we will convert into leadership lessons and we will then take it forward. So that was, not just thinking about it, but to taking it as to what it can do. He's already seeing the potential of that and trying to incorporate that in his own kind of world or own community or own whatever you want to say that. So that was really great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, sir, I want to ask you now, growing up in your childhood, did you have a background in spirituality? Was there a spiritual inclination?
It depends on how you define spirituality. I mean, if you think going to temples and all that, that was really not the way it is. I think what you kind of people you come in contact with, say your parents, your family, your school teacher, your college professor, or people in the organizations you serve. So it's all a question of you imbibing something or the other. So of course, family-wise, we grew with value systems and things like that. So that was there. School-wise, although I studied at Mayo College, Ajmer, which is, meant for princes, and the principal was an Englishman. And but the kind of things that were there, the kind of ethos, values, and he inculcated in people is always remains with you all your life. So these are the kind of things which you grow up absorbing things and observing things. And that's how I think one has therefore followed those ethos, followed those principles, retained them, and kind of express them in whatever manner it has been possible.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Mayo College. Of course, there's a very strong emphasis on discipline in boarding schools.
Yeah.
And I'm from a boarding school myself.
Okay.
So, we remember you have to get up at 6 o'clock. If you have to get up at 6 o'clock, you have to get up at 6 o'clock. There's no chance of you staying in bed for a minute longer.
Yeah.
So do you think that if you inculcate that early on in life, those lessons, how have they helped you in your later innings in the corporate world?
No, discipline definitely is important, and that gets inculcated. And if you don't do, then something's happened to you. So whether it is going for physical training exercises at 6 o'clock in the morning, or for games, or studies, or lights out in the evening, all these are, of course, that discipline. But more than that, certain values. And if I may take a couple of minutes to explain what
Of course, please.
So this principal, Jack Gibson, he used to teach geography. So he, not my class, but another colleague's class, friend's class, he asked a person who's supposed to be quite naughty and, not a very studious type. So he asked him a question and he gave him an answer. And he felt the answer was not correct. He made him stand up and he gave him, that time with ruler.
Of course, we used to get
those kind of things. So when his next class came, so Jack says, I want to share something. So I said, what? In last class, I asked a question to this boy, and he answered this, and it was wrong. I looked up when I went back, And what I found was that his answer was right. So what does Jack do?
He's already punished him.
He's already punished. So he takes 3 rollovers.
Oh,
He takes 3 rollovers in front of the entire class.
the teacher.
The,
Wow.
the principal is the principal. Now, these are the kind of values you can never forget in your life. So, this is the kind of thing that one is talking about. So, and then you want to live by that. So, there are many, all of us are actually experience this. But it's a question of how much you want to absorb, how much actually you have eyes for observing first, and then for absorbing it and living it and disseminating it. I mean, that's really the thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you mentioned, the ruler on the hand.
Yeah.
I mean, those days when I was in boarding school too, it was a very normal thing,
Absolutely. No, you can't do it now.
You can't do it now. I mean, and the tumble rolls, take a tumble roll or
Yeah.
hunches or
Yeah.
whatever. It was a very normal thing.
Yeah.
But now the thing has changed completely.
Yeah.
The atmosphere has changed completely.
Absolutely.
So do you think it's like a progression that is actually helpful? Or do you think, that had its value too?
I'm not sure. That was a lot more fun. No question. So I think fun is getting out.
Yeah.
Whether it is ragging, say, in my IIT Kharagpur, they had certain values. Of course, things can go wrong there. I'm not saying that. But it's like trying to set a small thing right. It's like one person has done something wrong in society, and then you make a rule which is applicable to the whole society. Maybe there's no option, or there's no other alternative method of doing. But it's unfair. It's unfair. So what happens in society is that a few people are responsible, and you make 99% of the people suffer the same fate. Something needs to change. No question of that. Something needs to change, because this is not the way society should be living. Society cannot be living by rules and regulations. It should be all internal. It should be people doing this. Yes, there are some wrong people, some wrong practices. Identify them, take them out, do whatever it is. But to punish the whole society for some few persons wrong is, at least in my thing, I really don't believe in that. And I do try to practice something different.
So self-imposed discipline is what you were saying is the way forward.
Yeah,
that you impose the discipline on yourself.
I'm going beyond that. Because we talked about the book. The central theme of the book is how to create powerful teams. So it's not about yourself. How to create powerful teams. And in that, what is the fundamental thing which makes you create powerful teams is building trust. If you have built trust, then you've created a powerful team. And that team can go on to do anything. And people don't realize what is the power of trust. You are able to do anything. Trust between, you can say it may be equal to love in many circumstances. Say mother and child's. What is this love? This love is trust.
Trust, yes.
Father and son, or brothers and this thing. So I'm saying if you are able to create that environment of trust, and you can't do it by talking about it, you have to live by it. And if you live by it, and I call trust as consistent integrity in adult life, if you are able to do it, you can create wonders. And many times I feel as to why not more and more people are trying to go that way. More and more people say that, I've got this much of experience, I know so much, all that. In 21st century, that's all bunkum. Because that information, which you thought is only private to you, is now available to everybody.
Yes.
It's available to your grandchild. And therefore, you don't have that advantage anymore.
Absolutely.
which you thought you had, wrongly, I would say. Today that is available to everybody else. And therefore, if you are able to create trust in society, I think you can do wonders. And at the moment, trust is at huge discount, as you know, whether it is media or anywhere else. And therefore, I feel trust is the most valuable commodity of 21st century. Most valuable commodity. It's very rare. It's most valuable commodity. But that is one way of looking at it. And therefore, if you take it further, either you can let it be like that, or you can say, if that is the most valuable commodity, how can I expand it? And that, I think, is what, in fact, organizations like this are actually doing it and can go in a very powerful manner and change the whole society.
Absolutely. That is so wonderful. You also mentioned the lesson you still remember that Jack Gibson, your principal in Mayo, taught you about how to take responsibility, which is also eventually about trust. He took responsibility for his decision, which was incorrect, and owning up to that. And, so this book is a result of such experiences in your innings in the corporate world. So you must have also memories of extraordinary leaders who have influenced you in your corporate career. Could you like to mention what?
You need to read the book.
Of course.
So it is there in acknowledgement. 7 persons I've named, and they're numerous.
Yes.
As I was saying, it is from childhood and this thing to, it is ending with Mr. Tata.
Of course, legendary.
And so the 7 persons I picked out, they are numerous. It happens in everybody's life. And somebody has influenced me for something, somebody for another thing, somebody for this thing, somebody for that. That's how, it's all kept building up. So life is all but experiences.
Fantastic. And, when we get into the corporate world, especially today, getting into a career, money is very important, of course. You have to make it feasible. But was that the case with you, or was there something else you were looking for? Some other sort of fulfillment? Because it was a very different time when you joined the corporate world.
Money is very important in life. The question is how much money? And that's where I think we go wrong. Money was never my first priority in life, never. In fact, I worked in 7 companies and twice I've taken a drop in salary because my priorities were different. Not that the companies were wrong, no, nothing about the company. But situations, personal situation, family situation like that I took a drop in salary, but I never thought I took a drop in salary because it was not a priority. But money is important. But what I am regretting now is in 21st century, and I've shared this with numerous organizations and people. Corporate started off very well, but I feel they have accumulated 3 ills over a period of time, like any good institution does over a period of time. So what are the 3 ills? Number 1 is, I'm coming to your point, single-minded focus on money. As far as our company is concerned, only shareholder value to the exclusion of everything else. As if the society and other people are not contributed, other stakeholders are not contributed. It's only shareholder value. And for individual, how can I become a millionaire? How can I become a billionaire? Now, how can I become a trillionaire? Money is important, as I'm saying, so don't get me wrong. But it cannot have so much that there's created a huge inequality in system. And when you create that kind of inequality in system, then something is going to rupture. And I think the pendulum has swung too much to the other side. The rupture has become extremely visible. Whether you take the US society and what's happening there, I feel is part of that. And if you take worldwide, it is also partly that single-minded focus on money has to be done away with. Number two is our single-minded focus only on productivity and efficiency increase. And again, that is important. We have dehumanized human beings. We don't treat, they are human beings. They are piece of thing I can throw off 20,000 persons tomorrow without
True.
any recourse to. I don't care what happens.
They're just figures.
They are just figures. You can't, they are human beings. They are like you and I. You can't treat them like that. So that's again, all these two factors combined together are causing huge stress in society, and that has to change. That has to change. And number three is, I feel, is over-glorification of leadership. As if leader is a god. As if leader is what he does everything. He's got magical powers. Till it ceases to be. Then he starts blaming everybody else except himself.
Yeah.
So this over-glorification of leadership and these three things that I've talked about are really, I would say, have damaged corporates a lot, and corporates need to look for newer things. And actually, that's what I'm offering in the book.
Wonderful. In fact, the deification of leaders also works the opposite ways. At once he's a god, but the moment things go wrong, he's a villain also,
Yeah.
Because
but the God thing itself is wrong.
Exactly.
Because he's not God. He's not God. And God also makes mistakes. But he's not God. And therefore, you need to treat... See, that is just connecting the dots earlier. You talked about Daaji. He's revered. But he didn't appear to me as if he's God. Nor did he project himself to be. He projected himself to be a normal person. And that is the beauty. That is the strength. I would say that is the strength of the person. It's not because you project yourself to be God.
Wonderful. So we were talking about leaders, and especially in the corporate world, how it's become so dependent on leaders.
Yeah.
And how it glorifies leaders.
Yeah.
There is one leader, of course, who the entire corporate world, especially in India, looks up to, and who you've had a very close association with. That, of course, is Mr. Ratan Tata. And he, exactly what you mentioned, that he did not project himself as above everything and the only person who's important in this company. Tata is known for looking after people, valuing its people. What was your experience with him like?
And I spent 15 years with him in the company, and another 12, couple of more than a dozen years outside the company. I was always in touch with him. Of course, he was a man of few words, but his body language told you everything. Of course, I've learned many things from him. But if I was to pick out the most outstanding thing for me, which I observed and absorbed from him, was how to look at things big, how to look at the opportunity and say, okay, this is the big thing. I'm also a born optimist, and I also look at things bigger, but I could never have imagined in my life that the big can be that big. So if I look at things in few hundreds, he would look at few millions. That's the scale difference. So that was one. Number two is he gave you the freedom to execute that. And again, that's a big thing. He was a person who was not prescriptive. He didn't tell you what to do, how to do it. He gave you the freedom to do it. Number three, which is the most important one, is he created psychological safety. So you knew if things could go wrong, and things do go wrong many times, that as long as your conscience is clear, intentions are clear, he'll take care of you somehow or the other. You may not have the same job, you may be checked out, but it's not that you'll go on the roads. I mean, that's the back you had. Now, you remove Mr. Tata from the scene, you remove Ravi Kant from the scene. You substitute that with another person here, and A, and another person B. Exactly same thing will happen. Exactly same thing. So what I'm trying to say is that if you are able to make people look up and dream big, give them the freedom to express themselves, and 3, give them the psychological safety of kind of indirect support, many people can do it. There's nothing special about Mr. Tata or Ravi Kant, I can tell you that. Anywhere in any organization, you have such people who can rise to the same kind of things and do the same kind of thing. There's nothing special, let me tell you that. And that's what I am actually in pursuit of. How can we have more and more organizations think and behave in the same manner? The book is all about that. When I'm talking about building powerful teams for what? Building powerful teams to look at the sky and look at the opportunity and then make it happen. So if you are able to do that, can you just imagine if you were to close your eyes and meditate and see what it can do to the country? It can be an amazing thing. So I'm on that journey at the moment, and I'm seeking help from wherever I can. It happens, but at least I would have the satisfaction of having tried it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So the vision and the strength to execute it, the freedom to execute it,
yes,
and the safety. Amazing. I wanted to ask you, risk taking is a very important part of business. You are doing things which have never been done before. And certainly you've been in the forefront of some very risky endeavors, starting with the Tata Nano, the Tata Ace. How did you handle that? Because it was just like, it was something completely never attempted before.
So let me talk in generalities. We can talk about specifics later on. Again, going back to what I was saying earlier, is the ability to think big. Unless you thought big, you wouldn't have even thought about creating a Nano, you wouldn't have thought about creating an Ace, you wouldn't have thought about taking Jaguar Land Rover or taking over or Daewoo Truck Company in South Korea. You wouldn't, first of all, the thought would not occur to you. That's first point I want to say. Second point I want to make is, when we're talking about risk-taking, we are talking in a very conventional manner. If I did this thing, which is supposedly risky, then I'm taking a big risk. But flip the whole thing. There's a risk of inaction. And what I am also propagating and talking to a lot of people, what is the new ROI for 21st century? ROI, what does ROI mean?
Return on investment.
Return on investment. I am saying the new ROI for 21st century is risk of inaction. Because there's so much of uncertainty, unpredictability, explosion of data, so many things are happening. So in this situation, if you don't act, actually you are taking a risk. Forget about acting and trying to gain something. But I'm saying if you don't act, you are risking your own existence. Your own, very own, and that of the organization. Because, the lifespan is shortening of organization, lifespan of CEOs is shortening, lifespan of careers are shortening. In our time, एक कंपनी में पूरे साल जिंदगी भर काम किया तो ठीक है. आज के टाइम बच्चों को देखो 3 साल इसमें है, 2 साल उसमें, 1 साल उसमें, फिर अपना भी शुरू करना है, फिर वापस आ जाना है. You may think this boy is taking or this girl is taking risk, but actually that boy, I think, is if he or she is in one company for a long time, they are taking risk. The whole perspective has changed.
Absolutely.
And we must understand and appreciate that in today's time, not doing anything, not acting, is actually you're taking a big risk. It's like us. I mean, the whole IT and digital scene has changed. We have not been born with this. So if you do not act, what's going to happen to us? We'll become dinosaurs. Is it not?
True.
So we must understand that in this change, we'll become dinosaurs. And if something goes wrong on your cell phone and you're this thing and you got your children or grandchildren, who do you go to in the family? I go to my grandchildren,
Absolutely,
granddaughters.
So the stream has changed direction.
So you are learning from them now.
Yes.
They are like fish to water. So I will take maybe 3 hours to even arrive at the situation if I can. They do it like this.
So true.
So we got to understand the situation has changed, the context has changed, and you need to therefore adapt yourself to in this kind of context and not be rigid and not be frozen in 50 years ago of context. As you know, if you get frozen, then that will be slow or fast death for you. That's all I can say.
Absolutely. You mentioned the Jaguar Land Rover takeover also. And some people put a very emotional spin to it at that time. And as you must have been aware that here is an Indian company taking over a British concern. But how much does emotion play a part in business?
A lot. Business cannot be only facts and figures. It has to be tempered with emotion. It has to be tempered with gut feel. It has to be tempered with this. So it's question of both kind of, you can say both left brain and right brain working together. You can't just rely on one. Especially as I'm again coming back to the same thing, especially in a context which is so fast changing, so unpredictable, so disruptive, you have no option. You have no option but to act like that.
Another thing that people talk about so often in relation to corporate life is work-life balance, because it's demanding. Certainly corporate life is demanding and the hours are long. How did you find, were you able to give adequate time to family, to work, or was it always a challenge?
क्या मतलब है वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस का, जरा समझाओ हमें तो हम बताएं.
क्या मतलब दोनों चीजों का आप ध्यान दे रहे हो. एक चीज का पल्ला भारी नहीं हो रहा है. मतलब आप दोनों चीजों को ध्यान दे रहे हो, फैमिली को भी ध्यान दे रहे हो, काम पे भी पूरा ध्यान दे, काम सफर नहीं कर रहा है और काम की वजह से फैमिली टाइम नहीं सफर कर रहा है.
हमको एक आदमी बता दो जिसने कुछ अचीव किया है और वो 9 to 5 जॉब करता है.
So true.
So if in life you want to do something, you want to accomplish something, then you are pursuing that goal, then there's a passion, then the work is no more work. Please understand that. Work is pleasure. See, like I find here, people are doing a lot of work, but to them it's not work. To them is passion. To them is pleasure. To them is something they feel like doing it. So if you are creating an environment people feel like doing it, what is work-life balance? There's no work-life balance. You talk to people have worked for 18 hours, 20 hours when situation demanded. So ये उसमें कंप्लेन करने का, अरे मुझे तो 18 घंटे काम करना पड़ा, अब क्या होगा, नींद नहीं आएगी, ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा. There are that kind of people also. But if people are pursuing certain goals, if people want to do it passionately, if people want to make a difference somewhere in themselves or in society or anywhere else, and you're doing things with passionately, now whether it takes 4 hours or 14 hours or 24 hours, you don't look at your watch and keep account of that. You don't do it that way. That's not how life works. So I think it's only people who are kind of, in my view, it's an artificial creation of things, work-life balance. किसी चीज में आपको प्यार है तो आप करते जाओ कि आपको क्या उसमें तकलीफ होती है, उसमें नहीं होती. अगर तकलीफ होती है चीज में तो ठीक है, फिर वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस. इफ यू आर फोर्स्ड टू कम टू वर्क, if you are reluctant to come to work, for that it can be a work-life balance. But if you are eager to come to work, if you are eager to, like many persons were telling कि वो ऐसा था, ये लोग आके ऐसे ऐसे काम करते थे, तो उनके लिए क्या फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So work-life balance, to my mind, is a misnomer. It depends on what kind of person you are. For you, it may be work-life balance. If you want to count in number of hours, it could be 18/6, 24, or 24/0. It depends. It depends on the situation. So I don't give any this thing to work-life balance. It depends on what one is pursuing. And if one is pursuing passionately, then, of course, I must put a caveat here that it does many times, the family has to also adjust. No question of that. So don't get me wrong. And you have to take care of, you have to do this thing of. There is some sufferance. Because as they say, there's no pleasure without pain. So some pain is there. But the question is, pain does not become the leading point. It's the pleasure which is there. And pain is there for you to kind of bear. Bear, not suffer, but bear.
Bear. Very interesting, that difference between suffering and bearing. Because bearing has an idea that there is a positive outcome of that.
Of course.
Whereas suffering, you don't see a positive outcome, you just see a negative outcome. Very interesting. एक मैं वाक्य आपको बताना चाहूँगा, and then I'll lead up to the next question. My brother, many years back, he was driving from Bangalore to Nainital. Bangalore से वो he had a Land Rover Discovery Sport थी, I think, उनके पास. और वो he was looking forward to this road trip, but it had some problem. मध्य प्रदेश में कहीं उनको problem हुई. So he called up the service agency. They diagnosed it and they said there's a problem with the engine. And this got escalated and it reached Mr. Tata's office. He was around at that time. It reached Mr. Tata's office and then he got a response that we are shipping a new engine from England for you, and we'll put it at absolutely zero cost. It was outside the warranty period, but they said, no, this shouldn't have happened. And we'll put it at zero cost. So which was a huge lesson in sort of ethics of doing business. Like, you've sold somebody a product and this product is not, failed because of any user's fault. It's failed because of a technical fault. So they replaced it free of cost.
In spite of being outside the warranty period.
In spite of being outside the warranty period, they replaced it completely free of cost. It became a brand new car. So this sort of ethics, can only come if the bottom line is not your final goal. If you are just not always looking at the bottom line. The bottom line is, of course, important. But as you said, the landscape of business has changed. And now it's all about the money. It's all about... So do you think in today's day and age, there is a place for ethics in business? And if there is, how do we encourage it?
I think the place for ethics is always there, however bad a situation may be. Even these organizations, they have had some very rough and very challenging times. But they have stood by their values. Even a large organization like Tata, or a small organization like Hawkins Pressure Cookers, a small organization, they have stood by the values. Yes, but if we must understand that you stand by values, then some suffering you have to, again, I'm coming back to that. You have to have some pain, but you got to bear that pain. Things may get delayed, things may not happen, things may this thing. So you need to become more innovative, you need to find out more ways and means to do things. But that is not under compromise. Once you are clear about that, then there is no confusion. फिर ये नहीं कि अच्छा चलो एक बार कर देते हैं. ये एक बार कर देते हैं ना, this is the most dangerous thing. It's like saying, I will be honest, all along I am honest. एक बार थोड़ा सा कर दो तो. And that एक बार has brought a lot of gloom to many organizations and many people. Otherwise, right? That's why I call trust means consistent integrity. Not once, not twice. The most important, even when no one is looking at you. Even when no one is looking at you, you are being honest. That's the test of honesty.
Absolutely. So all your lessons, sir, in this industrious corporate career, they are in this book, Leading from the Back.
Yeah, it's a storybook. It's a storybook.
It's a storybook.
It's a parable.
And people can access that wisdom. What is your long-term...
It's in different languages. Hindi is already...
I have the Hindi edition here also.
Hindi is already out, and in next 2 months,
the Hindi,
Marathi, Gujarati and Telugu will be out, and after that, a few more languages.
Wonderful. So what is your vision for this book? What do you think? What do you hope it can achieve?
The book is not important, and authors are not important.
I mean, you're a living example of its title, Leading from the Back. So even you're not giving the authors the importance. You are actually putting yourselves behind.
So I think what it is telling, the kind of philosophy that it is trying to expound, is what is important. And not this is not the end. It's means to an end. So as I was sharing with you earlier, if somebody is a corporate, is thinking, okay, it can grow from 100 to 105 in normal way of doing this. But once he or she understands the principle behind it, his or her outlook changes. Then it is not rooted in the past. It's not trying to extend the past into future. Then it is looking at the future. And in future, it may say, okay, maybe that is something I can go for. I have some skills, those skills I can transfer, some skills I can get, but I can reach there. Not by normal way, by doing innovations, by doing this thing and all that. And then he finds that, okay, oh my God, that is double the size of this. I never thought of that. Now, can you imagine if we imbue this kind of philosophy in thousands of companies, what it will do to the country? Just close your eyes and think about it. What it will do to the country. It will transform the country. So this is a small book which has the potential to make very, very transformative changes. And there's nothing new or novel about it. Let me tell you that. Let's be quite honest about it. Beginning, I thought कि maybe मैं करता था, लोग नहीं करते हैं. So I had 110 interactions in last year and a half. In India and overseas at Cambridge, London, at Ireland, Dubai, Singapore and all that, and different types of audiences, business schools, universities, companies, big companies, large companies, associations of people, civil society people. And I've discovered 3 things. One is that an overwhelming majority, a very overwhelming majority of people, audiences, were nodding their head in agreement. So that's a very positive thing. That means people want that. That's a very good thing to begin with. Second thing is that actually a lot of people are using it intuitively at many places, whether it is the US or Europe or East Asia or India, of course. Many people are using it intuitively, but they don't know what it is. As indeed, I didn't know till 4 years ago that is called leading from back, till somebody else told me, some advertising guy told me, a friend of mine, that when I asked him, how do you describe my way of working? So he said, Ravi, you lead from the back. That's how the title has come. I didn't know. Similarly, thousands of people, they don't know what they're doing, but they're doing intuitively something right. my book has given a structure and this thing. So now you can, oh, that is trust. Oh, that is open-minded. Oh, this is this. Oh, this. So now you have something. And third thing is that such people are not there for self-glorification, unlike the other kind of leaders. But they're doing wonderful jobs and they are not known. So two things I'm on to. One is to discover such people and bring them on the table so that other people can see them, watch them, understand, get more confident. And number two is have companies and organizations embrace and embed it. So I'm into that journey and I'm doing it. And we have found in last 2 months, we got an NGO, we got 2 institutions, one in Assam University, one Wellinger Institute of Management in Bombay, a small company in Chennai which wants to go 10 times in 5 years using this philosophy. 2 Tata companies, Tata Autocomp and Tata Chemicals, 2 large companies which are going to embrace this philosophy, and we are going to work out. Who's we? We is a group of volunteers. सब साथ में चलते चले जा रहे हैं नहीं हम भी करेंगे ऐसा वॉलंटियर्स नहीं अच्छी चीज़ है इसलिए so I hope it builds it gets some momentum, it builds into movement and it becomes rest. It has the potential to, as I said, to change. Let's see what happens. It's our job to keep trying. बिल्कुल. Leave the rest to God.
नहीं, एक स्टडी है मैं पढ़ रहा था कि कौन सा कंटेंट सबसे ज़्यादा फॉरवर्ड होता है, मतलब जो हम ग्रुप्स में भेजते हैं, व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स में भेजते हैं, तो सरप्राइजिंगली इट इज़ कंटेंट दैट क्रिएट्स फियर जो सबसे ज़्यादा फॉरवर्ड करते हैं. सेकंड मोस्ट इज़ कि थोड़ा सैडनेस या पॉइनियंस हो. But unfortunately, we don't spread things that actually are beneficial and happiness as aggressively as we do things that are negative and create fear. But I think this thing is something that definitely needs to be spread. This philosophy of leading from the back is something that so many people can benefit from.
So I would like to say something here. I think you touched upon a very important point. We were trying to say what good it can do, but it was not getting traction. Then I also read a lot of books and all and said कि तो जब आप बात करते हो प्रेजेंटेशन करने तो कुछ fear factor डालने का. So we put some fear factor in our presentation. And what is that fear factor? One of them is this cost of inaction. Forget about growing. If you don't act, you are finished.
You won't even stay in the same place.
You won't stay in the same place. Your business will disappear. So we are demonstrating through various slides and all. We are going on to say that, look, you don't understand what will happen. Suppose you are earning 30 lakhs of rupees. You are out of job. And now you are going on a freelance kind of thing. And I know many people who are actually that. People don't realize is that till that person happens to be your close friend or part of family. Then only it hits you. Otherwise, there are already people there in different this thing of state of society. Or now you can imagine that person is somewhere in 30 to 40. 30-35 लाख कमाते थे, 15 लाख आप कमाते हैं, उसके लिए भी जाके मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. You have already committed for home loan. You have already committed, you have taken a car loan. Your children are going to school and school education now is very, very expensive. As you know. You got older parents whose health has to be taken care of. How are you going to manage this? Just close your eyes and try to understand कि अगर आपकी तनख्वाह आधी हो जाएगी तो आप कैसे manage करोगे? It's impossible. Then only, all these kind of things start happening, the mental stress, suicides, all this is going to increase because of this. And we are not understanding the kind of havoc it is causing in the society. And that is why I feel that if more and more people can get it, we are not only talking about economic growth, we are talking about economic growth with happiness. Now, happiness is it's a kind of it comes free with the whole thing. Because when you're making powerful teams, you're creating powerful. How are they becoming powerful team? Because they're relaxed. They're relaxed. And they're able to do things and when you are relaxed, then you're happy. Happy. So not only you're doing something for society as a for economic improvement, but also you're creating improvement in their happiness and lives and things like that. So it's a twin objectives are being met. That is why I feel that is very, very powerful. And anyway, as a good point is, a lot of people are inclined towards it. A lot of people are using. So hopefully, more and more people should take.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
I will look up to people like you to spread the message and make people embrace and imbibe this philosophy.
No, thank you. We are a very small, I'm a very small part of this story, but yes, this whole organization, Daaji, taking it forward will be something really amazing. And I'm sure it's mutually beneficial. It's like helps society. It's not just benefits one person. I wanted to ask you, there is an accusation sometimes that's put on Indian industry that we are execution rich but not innovation rich. Innovation इतना नहीं होता है. हाँ, execution बहुत अच्छा कर देती है इंडियन इंडस्ट्री. आपका क्या ख्याल है इसमें?
मेरा ख्याल ये है कि अगर माइंडसेट चेंज करो तो वो भी इट कैन बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. आई टोटली एग्री विद दैट. इन मेनी टाइम्स इवन एग्जीक्यूशन रिच भी नहीं है. The islands of execution rich.
Correct.
But it is not as a culture of execution rich. Let's put it this way. The islands of excellence. And innovation may be takleef hai. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you imbue people with that kind of vision, that kind of thought, कि यार मुझे यहाँ से यहाँ नहीं जाना, मुझे तो वहाँ जाना है. ये अगर आपने कर दिया ना, तो ये सारी चीज़ें खत्म हो जाएंगी. क्योंकि वहाँ पहुँचने के लिए आपको इन्वेशन करना ही होगा. वहाँ पहुँचने के लिए आपको आउट ऑफ बॉक्स थिंकिंग करनी ही होगी. वहाँ पहुँचने के लिए आपको कोलैबोरेशन करना ही होगा. वहाँ पहुँचने के लिए आपको हेल्प लेनी होगी कईयों से, तभी आप पहुँच सकते हो. तो इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि द पावर ऑफ द आइडिया इज ह्यूज. सो इफ यू मेक पीपल रियलाइज दिस, then many things will happen automatically. That I can tell you. And I can only say that I've experience of this in many companies. Many companies. People are not bad. It's the same people who are castigated for bringing the company down into dust. And same people do the rejuvenation of the company in a short period of time. So how can you blame people? That's one. Number two is ideas. भाई आइडियाज़ किसी की बपौती नहीं रहती है. आइडियाज़ ये सोचना कि वो टॉप ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में रिसाइड करता है, दैट्स ऑल बंकम. Many people are coming with the ideas, fantastic things. I mean, you see, for example, somebody was working in my house. वो बिहार का आदमी है, 8वीं क्लास है. उसको मैं इंग्लिश की रेसिपी देता हूँ, पढ़ना उड़ना लिखना नहीं मालूम उसको.
वो बना देता है.
नहीं सर, वो उसको गूगल ट्रांसलेट करता है.
अरे वाह.
उसके बाद से वो वीडियो में जाता है. वो वीडियो हिंदी में वीडियो चला के वो कुकिंग कर लेता. कैन यू इमेजिन? सो द नेटिव इंटेलिजेंस इज एक्सट्रीमली हाई इन दिस कंट्री एंड वी शुड नॉट अंडरएस्टिमेट पीपल्स नेटिव इंटेलिजेंस, व्हाट दे कैन डू. Ultimately, he left my job and opened a restaurant in his hometown. So that's very good, because that's migration of society, which is doing good thing.
Absolutely.
So I again keep coming back to this central theme is, if you are able to open people's mind, if you are able to create trust, then you can do absolutely astounding things. So if we get this idea, this simple idea, and change people's mind, like, for example, your organization is very powerful. But if this organization, can you imagine what will happen to this country? Then people will not talk about China. They'll say कि अरे चाइना में इस टाइप की गवर्नमेंट है, ऐसा है, सिस्टम है, तो इसलिए वो हो जाता है. ये नहीं है. किसी सिस्टम में हो सकता है. people have intelligence, people have this thing. They need only to be given encouragement. They need to be given psychological safety. They need to be this. You will then see कि क्या होता है. मतलब I don't think anybody can imagine क्या हो सकता है.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. And you have experienced heartfulness meditation in the last few days. What do you think the impact meditation can have on this, the vision that you speak about? You speak about aiming high, aiming at the highest vision possible. We are pretty much in heartfulness. The goal is the highest evolution of consciousness that you can get to. Don't stop until you think the goal has to be the highest, never second highest, never. And it's paradoxical that the journey always continues because the goal keeps getting higher and higher. So do you think meditation can have an impact?
Not only it can have impact, it can have a very important and very solid impact. Because I talked about taking ownership. I talked about detachment. I talked about opening mind. I talked about building trust. These things can't happen by themselves. Some support has to be there. बाकी हम लोग मेजर रोजर कर सकते हैं, ये सब कर सकते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. बट जब तक इनर चेंज नहीं होगा तब तक वो नहीं हो सकता. तो कैसे इंट्यूटिवनेस को बढ़ाया जा सकता है, कैसे डिटैचमेंट को बढ़ाया जा सकता है. बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे पीपल से अच्छा ठीक है तुमने बोलते दिया यार डिटैचमेंट, लेकिन मैं करूँ कैसे?
हाउ टू डू इट.
सो मेडिटेशन इज अ टूल to make it happen. Definitely a very, very strong tool. How to create greater intuitiveness. Because, it's known, but recently it's become more sharpened in my mind. Conscious mind has great limitations. मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, एक और आदमी से बात कर रहा हूँ, तो हमारी कैपेसिटी बढ़ गई. सबकॉन्शियस माइंड जो है ना, उसकी वो अथाह सागर. फर्स्ट पॉइंट ये है, आपको मालूम होना चाहिए कि सबकॉन्शियस माइंड आई कैन डू enormously unimaginable things. Infinite things. That's point number one. ये knowledge awareness. Second है, नेक्स्ट नहीं तो यार मैं सबकॉन्शियस कैसे बढ़ाऊंगा. तो इन लोगों ने टेस्ट किया और फिर देखा कि यार ड्रग्स लेने से सबकॉन्शियस माइंड बढ़ता है. दैट इज वाई विल फाइंड क्रिएटिव पीपल टेक ड्रग्स. वी से कि टेकिंग ड्रग्स is bad in society. Yes, normally it's bad. But taking those kind of drugs can create immense creativeness. That's why you'll find musicians, artists, this thing. Yes, यही लोग ज़्यादा ड्रग वगैरह लेते हैं. वो बाकी जनता में चली जाती है तो गड़बड़ हो जाता है. तो but these people are, that's one way. Another way they found out is if you do intense things, then you get into that flow. What is also called flow? Yes. Flow. तो जैसे आप कॉन्सर्ट सुन रहे हो तो आप भी झूमने लगते हो. कीर्तन में बैठे हो आप भी बोलने आपके निकलने लगता है कि नहीं? या आपको एक्सट्रीम स्पोर्ट करते हो तो एकदम से आपको you are get into some kind of thing. So that is another way of getting this. And third way, they tested it out on Buddhist monks. And they find they reached that stage in 14, 15 years. But then says, यार corporate or general life में 14-15 साल कौन किसके पास नहीं. Then they started doing experiment, started cutting down. Now they have come to the conclusion that even if you do meditation for 7 days, mind my 7 days, you get into that state. So you learn it and do it, you get into this. So that is why I'm saying we can sharpen these faculties, which we already have. Yes, some people may have more, some people may have less. But whether you have more or less, if you apply this, it can be sharpened even more. And that's why I feel that meditation is a very, very strong tool. और ये तो अपना ही है, मतलब चाहे बुद्धिज़्म ले लो, चाहे ये ले लो, चाहे ये, तो मेडिटेशन करो, ये सब चीज़ें करो इंट्यूटिव. कल परसों मैंने यहाँ पर एक बहुत, इट वाज माइंड बॉगलिंग फॉर मी. आपका brighter minds.
जी जी.
It was an amazing thing I witnessed. In fact, that's the most amazing thing that I witnessed in last 4 days. A 14-year-old boy, having undergone 5 days of practice, is blindfolded and can tell you what color of jacket you are wearing, what color of shirt you are wearing, blindfold. And then I give him my cell phone and he starts reading what is the message. Unimaginable. It's magic. So can you imagine that if we were to do these kind of things to people, their intuitive faculty, how much more sharpened it becomes. And therefore it becomes more sharpened. And then you begin to then apply these things with much greater impact and much greater effectiveness. So I'm saying the number of things which are here, meditation is here, brighter minds is here. All these are tools, I would say, to take people forward. Those who want to go forward, that choice is theirs.
Yes, brighter minds is truly amazing actually. और मैं कुछ बच्चों से बात कर रहा था, they were saying they were surprised the first time they did it also, कि हमसे हो गया है. You know, because actually I think we are so conditioned that हमारे बस की बात नहीं है. And so we are conditioned to reduce our capability actually.
Exactly.
To believe in very limited capability.
Exactly.
And once you take that off, the sky is the limit, you know.
Exactly.
And
that's what tells you sky is the limit. It's a 5-day exercise, 6-day exercise.
Yes.
Similarly, meditation में बोला वो किताब में लिखा 7 दिन का meditation करो, बहुत है.
Yes, so many people, first 3 sessions of Heartfulness they take and they feel, you know, that what I've been searching for so many years, I've got so quickly.
Sure.
And आपने drugs की बात करी थी. I wonder if you've heard of नीम करोली बाबा, वहाँ कैची के बाबा जी. कैची धाम.
नैनीताल के पास.
नैनीताल के पास. I'm from Nainital, so
Okay.
So वहाँ की एक कहानी है कि रिचर्ड एल्पर्ट ये साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे हार्वर्ड के. ये आए वहाँ, फिर उन्होंने अपना नाम बदल के रामदास रख लिया. ये बात की बात है. लेकिन he was a LSD user. Big time.
60s की बात.
60s की बात है. So they were experimenting with LSD and they thought they'll use it as psychological treatment and things like that. But eventually they just started enjoying the high that they got out. So he said he was carrying these heavy dose wala LSD, which because he had done it for so many years. And he said, I used to have half a pill and one pill would have killed a person. So one day Neem Karoli Baba told him कि आप वो medicine, just get me your medicine. He said, which medicine? He said, the one that you say gives you visions and all that. So he said he got a bottle which had about 10 pills in it. So he said, Babaji just took all 10 pills and ate them. So he said, अब तो ये खत्म ही हो जाएंगे, अब तो there is no... But nothing happened to Babaji. And then in the evening, Babaji told him, you know, your medicine is good, but it's temporary.
Fantastic answer.
So, you know, and meditation is something that is permanent. It's there with you.
Absolutely. And it's so simple.
It's so simple to achieve. It's been such a joy speaking to you, Ravi Kant ji. It's been such an honor. Lastly, I just wanted to ask you, the book has of course kept you busy, but also there are many charitable works that you are involved in, especially with health. What motivates you to do that?
ऐसा लाइफ में बहुत सी चीज़ें आप सीख नहीं करते हो, वो आ जाती हैं. And that is why you need to have an open mind. Your antenna should always be open. वो opportunity wave की तरह जा रही है, जब जा रही तो पकड़ लो. So मैंने भी ये किया कि चलो पकड़ लिया. तो एक तो बिहार के गांव में वो भी इस मिनी of this place,
like a community.
It's a mini section of this. So वो लोग, उनका मिशन है कि to eliminate blindness in Bihar on other low income areas with women empowerment. And I think they are doing a fantastic job, both in terms of eliminating blindness. They have taken upon themselves, they have not asked the government, they have taken it upon themselves, one organization, that they are going to create capacity to eliminate blindness in Bihar and Eastern UP. And then, of course, they'll move on to other things. And through a program called Football to Eyeball for girls, is fantastic. And girls, they take girls from very poor rural families, जो कि बिल्कुल जिसको बिल्कुल थंब के नीचे है, और मेल शॉविनिस्टिक सोसाइटी.
बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन फैमिली.
बिलो पॉवर्टी नहीं, बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन में जो फैमिली के अंदर तो वो तो बिल्कुल दबी हुई है ना.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
ब्रदर, फादर वगैरह, उन्हीं के कहने पर उन लड़कियों को लेते हैं, हम लोग पढ़ाते हैं, 4 साल का ऑप्टोमेट्री कोर्स कराते हैं. Everything is paid by us. Each girl costs about ₹1,25,000 per annum. I tell you, after 5 or 6 years, जो transformation होता है, it is out of this world. The same girl becomes the chief wage earner in the family.
Wow.
And by virtue of that, because we give them job as ₹20,000, and 20,000 they have not seen in their lives.
Absolutely.
Per month. They have not seen, and therefore she becomes the chief decision maker in the family. Now she decides कि वो भाई पढ़ेगा नहीं पढ़ेगा, बहन की शादी होगी नहीं शादी होगी. She is the one who is changing the society. So we are now trying to make that. It's already the largest in Eastern India. We have got 300,000 capacity, 80% free of cost we do.
Wow.
We have got 300 girls at the moment. We are raising it to 1,500 girls and then go on to more. So that's one which I am very intimately connected with. Other one is on other side, cancer. Cancer, is a dreaded disease. And so there is now a remedy called gene therapy. So if you have very acute and serious cancer, now it's available for liquid cancers. It will become after 3-4 years, maybe for solid cancers and all. So, but it's a personalized medicine. Blood is taken, virus is mixed with virus, specific virus, and then reformulated and put back in your bloodstream. So it's cure for cancer, but it's very expensive. It costs $1 million per patient. So even in the US, people can't afford
it. Yeah.
So therefore, a group of altruistic thinking professors and ex-professors of Harvard Medical School and ex-leadership of Novartis, they have come together. They have formed a startup in Boston about 4 or 5 years ago. They want to bring the cost down to 1/5 or 1/7. And for that, one of the levers they have to set up the manufacturing facility in a low-cost country. That happens to be India. So in Noida, it is being built. It's almost ready. In a month or 2, trials will be taken. And that's again an amazing thing that you are at the end of your life almost. And you have this wonder drug, though expensive at the moment. And you extend your life by this. So these are the two things which I am quite closely involved in, and this gives me satisfaction. So on one side, the philosophy of the book, other side, eliminating blindness, third side, cancer thing, it keeps you busy all the time.
Absolutely.
So there's no work-life balance for me. You can understand. If it means working 24 hours, so be it. It doesn't matter. As long as you're enjoying it, as long as you feel happy about it, as long as you're satisfied.
Yes. And I hope we can add a third thing to busy your calendar a little more. That is frequent visits to Kanha, Shanti, Vanam, to Heartfulness. We would be so honored.
Thank you. It was a pleasure interacting with you. It was amazing, the kind of questions you asked.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor on our part. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of KanaCast. Do subscribe to KanaCast on YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Until the next episode, from the entire KanaCast team, namaste and goodbye.